All right, everyone. Welcome once again to the Faces of Business. I'm your host, Damon Pistolka, and I am excited today because today I've got Dennis Riley, and we're going to be talking about taking control of your business. Dennis, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Damon. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun today. So, Dennis, let's like we like to do on the Faces of Business. Let's learn a bit more about you. Tell me about where you started, what really got you into business and helping people.
Sure, yeah. Dennis Riley, goals to results. I'm a business strategist, but that's not where I started. In 1994, I decided to do my first business, and it was software development. And this was
Yeah.
before the internet, well before. In fact, then 6 years after that, guess what? New Year's Eve, I was working because of a Y2K. Remember that?
Yeah.
The world was going to end because that two digits. And yeah, so I've been for 20 years I did that, and then halfway through that I decided that when I was talking to a lot of my clients, a lot of the business owners, I started asking what are they going to do with strategy, what are you going to do this, how are you going to make systems and all that stuff. And they were, listening and all that stuff. And I just started to do another business. So I had two businesses going. One was consulting, which was business strategist, and one was software development. I let the software development go its course. It went 20 plus years, and now we're in year 11 of the consulting part of things. So life is, it's hectic, it's fun, I love it.
Good. Good. So when you've been consulting now, you said it's been a dozen years almost, it looks like. So what did you learn in the software business that you think you brought into the consulting business that really has helped you a lot?
Oh, definitely two things. One was I learned that creating a software product is like running a business, because what you do is when you create a software product, the first thing you have to do is reverse engineer it. What is the outcome? And it's just like a business, what are your goals for the year, where you want to go, and all that stuff. And then you reverse engineer all the way back and you start. And also, what I learned is it really is about the data. You better know what's going on with your data, because if you don't, you're just flying by the seat of your pants, and you know how long that lasts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's definitely the first thing. The second thing was when I first started my business, I did everything myself, and it was like, the thousand hats on. And even when I hired people, and I still had to be a part of every single decision, every single meeting. Guess how that worked out? Stressville city, and me like not doing very well. It's like, my business started to plateau, and then I realized I can't do it all myself, and I had the people who I hired, I gave them responsibility, I gave them direction, I implemented systems into my business. And guess what? Things just took off. And I said, that's what I'm going to tell people. And that's what it is. Those two things, run it like a data, run it like run your business like a software development project. Make sure you have your data and have systems. Please have systems.
That's funny because I spent a couple hours today with clients working on data and systems. It's it is definitely and especially as your organizations get bigger. I mean
Oh,
the
absolutely.
data and system requirements get more complex and more important.
And there's also so much. Think about how much data the average small business owner has at his disposal. It's it,
Yeah.
it, it really is overwhelming. And so, how many user IDs and passwords do I have to log in to see different parts of the data? It's like everyone goes, screw this. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do. And I come in and I say, look, first we gotta take all that data. We gotta see which one is more important to you, which KPIs are the ones that are running your business, and we're gonna put those in front of you all the time. And then, just like a dashboard in a car, when things go wrong, you open up the hood and you figure out. So you look at that dashboard. If you see a little moving here and there, you figure out what's going on. And I get people to that point.
I'm just sitting back. I'm hearing the skies are opening, the angels are singing.
Ah!
Yeah. Yeah, because that's I mean, people ask me, and I'm having a conversation with another BI data guy on Thursday, and you know, they just want to puke tons of data at you. I said, no, nobody's looking at 17 spreadsheets every day. It better be in about as big as I can cover with this. And I'm talking the little piece, the little hole in my finger and thumb, or people aren't reading it. And it's got to be that fast. And it's because, like you said, if there's a problem, we can always drill down.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is that when I talk about people, when I talk about their data, first thing people want to go, oh, I know my profit and loss. I know my financial stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking only at your financial, that is the last domino to fall.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're already behind the 8 ball. You better know the first or second domino that fell, how to switch that so that it doesn't get to the profit and loss.
Exactly. Those first dominoes, it's like it could be as simple as how many customers called us this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Were you prospecting? What does your pipeline look like?
Yeah. Yeah.
It all goes down to that. It's like, and people don't understand that. And I don't understand why they don't understand it. It's like, you know what? And I roll up my sleeves and say, you don't know it? Let me see it. I'll get your data. I'll do all this stuff. And then we'll talk, because then I'll ask them questions. And the picture they paint about their business is a different than what the data paints about their business. And it's amazing that, the two should go together. And I always say to people, your data is the DNA of your business. Just like everyone has DNA on their fingerprint, it's just a data. That's what business does. If you don't know your data, you don't know your business.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
That is correct. That is correct. So, wow, you hit on a bunch of stuff there already. We're 7 minutes into this thing, and it seems like an hour because you've hit so many things already. I gotta write some more here. So let's go back. Let's ask some fun questions here to get us rolling too.
Do it.
We always want to talk about. So, what is the biggest business challenge you have ever faced?
Oh, you know what? I had a client that, again, it was in my software development days, that they had to move their business from one platform to another without missing beat. And we're talking tens of thousands of data had to get moved. And they couldn't, if you missed one data, it would have been a failure. And doing that really took a lot of people really rowing the boat together, making sure that the systems were in place of how we were going to do it, when we were going to do the switch over, making sure that the old data was, making sure the staging data was in sync with the live data. So when we switched it over, nothing missed a beat.
Yeah.
That was probably the biggest challenge from a client standpoint by far. And we did it. We did it. So, and no data got lost and nothing. So that was a very, very rewarding on my part from a business challenge. From a business standpoint, my biggest challenge was me realizing that I didn't have to be a part of every single decision. And I always just say, no, come on. The buck stops here. I'm the business owner. I have to make sure that I'm a part of every decision and nothing gets by me, blah, blah, blah. That is the furthest from the truth. You should have quality people, quality systems in place that will tell you what you need to know. And then you can make the decision, is it a good or go? You don't have to be part of every single decision. You don't have to be a part of every single meeting. And I was for the longest time. And then I realized my business was plateauing for one reason and one reason only: me. Yeah. I was the clog. And once I stepped out of the way, things started to take off.
Yeah,
and I see that so many times with business owners when they're growing. I love a growing business. I love that first couple stages of growth because I see myself in them like there's no tomorrow. Because I'm like, dude, you gotta step aside. We got to put systems in place that allows you to see all that data, and just like you said, just the little things that moves up and down, and you go after it. That's when you jump into it. Don't jump in if you see things are going fine. jump in when you see a little issue,
Yeah.
you know? And I love the thing that people say, oh, I'm just running around with my head cut off. I'm in firefighter mode. I'm putting all these fires. I love saying to people, do you know a fireman does not put out fires every single day? Think about it. When they go to work, they're in the firehouse waiting for a fire alarm, and then they put out the fire. Then what they do after is they go back to the fire station and wait for the next one. It's not one after another. So when
Yeah.
someone says I'm in firefighter mode, no, you're not. You're way past that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because they don't fight 17 fires in one day. They might want
Exactly.
maybe two, maybe three at the
Maybe
most.
exactly. Maybe yeah, you have to split up because two are going on at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great one. I love it though. You're talking about waiting for the financial data is just way too late. I always talked about that. And I learned it the hard way, honestly. Honestly, in running investor owned companies years and years ago, uh, you get surprised by financial stuff. And the only way to honestly to stay employed is to not let that happen too many months in a row. Otherwise you won't be, I mean, there's not the tolerance for it.
That's right.
So out of necessity, we would develop ways to almost do operational measures on a weekly basis. Sometimes even if we were in a turnaround situation, we would almost do full financial closes every week just to be able to understand where are we at, because it is so key to understand and be able to adjust if you need to.
And look, you know it too. No one knows when they jump into business. There is no manual how to run a business. There is
No,
no. And
none.
if they do have one, guess what? It's obsolete by the time you open up page one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the thing is, it is trial by error, and you do make mistakes, and you learn from those mistakes. My goodness, you're right. Think about all the different times, all the ups and downs. When I was in the toughest part for me when I was in the software development industry was when things went global, and a lot of my competition said, I'm laying off all my developers and I'm going to hire them overseas for $5, $10 an hour. I said, no, I'm not doing that. So my profit margin went from here to here right away because that's one business thing that I said I wasn't going to do. I'm glad I did it that way,
Yeah.
but you had to adapt and say, okay, I'm not going to do it this way. Let me do it another way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great example too. And I think it's honestly, I do a bit of work in manufacturing, and you look at that, how that's changed in the last 3 years with COVID and the supply
Yeah.
chain problems. We have a great reawakening in that industry that I think is going to continue on for some time because of the fact that the supply chain, we can't live with those kind of supply chain problems forever.
Yeah.
So at least it'll go on for as long as I'm around to worry about it.
There you go.
So as you're out there today and you're helping people in business, what are some of the biggest challenges you're seeing people look at now today with data? Let's start with data.
The sheer overwhelm of it.
Yeah.
By far, there's not even a close number two in my book, because what happens is people, even if they have that little dashboard in front of them or something, the sheer depth of data out there, it's amazing how much data is out there, not just for your company, for your industry, for your competitors. Hell, if I want to go online and see what my competitors' keywords are, I can.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so much data at your disposal that the business owner is now saying, okay, yeah, fine, I understand my data, but what stuff am I looking at? And guess what? That could change month to month.
Mm-hmm.
And so the sheer moving back, I mean, I love the analogy of Lego pieces. Your data right now, if you don't have control of it, is just take the box and dip it upside down. That's your piece. If you start making different, a house or whatever, that's the pattern you see in your data. That's your goal. Your goal is to find patterns. If you can make a picture of that data, you are in control of your business.
Wow. So I'm thinking about that here. If you could make a picture of your data, so give me an example of doing that.
Perfect. Okay, I will give you. Okay, here's one example. I had a client a couple years ago, and this client was just starting out in business, and they've been in business a couple years, and they were plateauing. They didn't understand how to get to the next level. And I said, look, do me a favor. I want to know what you're working on every day. So do me a favor, just for 1 week, I want you to tell me, you write down everything you do, and you're going to give that to me. And so they gave it to me and looked through it and went, okay, so what's this? Oh, this client, this client. They were working with different clients throughout pretty much most of their week. And I said, okay, good. And I started to bucket. I said, look, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take all these clients that you have, and they were getting reports saying how each client was, the commission they were getting from each client. They had those reports. I said, I'm going to take that report. I'm going to bucket even more. I want you to tell me which clients are the most pain in the butt clients that are on you 24/7. I want to know which clients on a scale of 1 to 10, how you can help them out the most. And then we saw their commissions. I put them all together. The people with the lowest commissions were the people that were always in that person's back pocket. So
Yeah.
finally, what happened is I had all this data. We made some other data. I put it together and I started to see a pattern. And then I said, look, is there like a 1-800 number or an FAQ place you can send these people to? And they're like, oh my God, yeah, there's a 1-800 number all the time, but I usually interfere and do it. I said, no, you take these people, you put it to a 1-800 number, and that's it. They did that for 2 weeks. This person came back and says, I have 20 free hours a week now.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
Wow.
we did is we found the pattern. And
Yeah.
once we found the pattern that did not work with the business, we had a system in place to shift the pattern so that now it was well on its way in a different picture.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome because yeah, the data, I said this to somebody else and I didn't even realize they were like, whoo, wow. I said, the data will set you free.
Yep.
The data will set you free.
Oh, the pattern will set you free.
There you go. There you go. So as you're doing this now and you're helping these people understand business, they understand what they're doing. I mean, there's the one thing I universally, any business you walk into, I think they're generally pretty good at what they're doing if they've been in business for a while. And always everybody can get a little better here and there, but as you're teaching these business owners and these people in these businesses about business and they're starting to develop the patterns and understand the patterns in their data and their business more because of that, what are some of the things that they're telling you? You said extra time, but what are some of the things they're saying I really hadn't thought about, or just the kind of awakenings that you see in them?
Sure. Yeah. There's a couple of them. One that I love is that I love this line that says, systems run businesses, people run systems. Okay. So when we put the systems in place, people would say, oh, wait, now this person isn't going to do what they say, now wait, we're going to take someone's business away, someone who's doing those tasks away because we're automating or something like that. What we realize is when you systemize someone's task load, they now have more time to be creative and use their zone of genius to get better at their job or what they're trying to get across. So now what happens is, and I've heard this a lot, is that the workflow is going better, more ideas are coming because now people are not spending so many hours on the things because now there's systems and they're reading the system, seeing the data and going, oh, we need to do this. And it's not just the owner doing that. Now it's other people going, hey, did you know we can do this differently because I saw this as a result? And now
Wow.
all of a sudden, people are now doing a lot more for a lot less time, and you get a lot more out of everyone, and everyone seems to be rowing the same way, the boat, and it's going farther.
Wow. Wow. in what you said earlier here, I just want to repeat it again. Systems run businesses and people run systems. I think that's so it, that, and then the second thing you said about systems allow people to operate in their creative genius.
Yep. And it works every single time. And what you said earlier about that, no one gets into business because they want to run a business. They have something of value that they want to offer the world. I tell all the business owners, you stay in that value. Be that. And what happens is so many business owners can't do what they want to, or they are more beneficial in their business because they're doing all this other stuff that's piled up on their plate, and because they don't have systems or they don't see their data in place to realize I can push this over here, move it around here. I now have more time to do what I was made to do. It's not just the business owner, it's all the other people in the company.
Yeah. Yeah. By having those systems to efficiently do what they need to do, it allows them to, like you said, operate in their creative genius. Yeah. It's interesting because I was in a business last week and they were talking about burnout. And I could tell after doing some interviews around the business, my thought is that the burnout is because there are no systems
Yeah.
or very few systems.
Yeah.
And everybody's doing the way they think they should on these things. And it's not, I mean, there's 50 plus people in this business, and systems bring order, and order brings efficiency. And when people understand what they need to do, because I've always believed that burnout beyond, just putting too many hours in, right? If you're working a normal day and you got burnout, it's something taxing your mind or your people's minds working, and systems will reduce that a significant amount because everybody has a better idea of what they should be doing.
What's the worst thing about burnout? And what's usually one thing is confusion.
Yeah.
So they're not sure. Wait a minute, because I love the analogy of those crew races,
Oh
where there's
yeah.
like 6 or 7 people in a boat, and they all have to row the same time, because then it starts to move forward. If you have 6 people rowing one way, another way, and all that, they were just going to go around in circles, and they're going to get so burnt out and so tired because they're putting more energy into only going this fast. Whereas if a business is running in sync and every player knows their responsibility and what they need to do their job, burnout is not going to happen as much.
Yep.
Communication is huge, and also responsibilities. And so if the people, it's usually what happens is the people who are in charge, they don't know either what what the task they're giving out, they don't know the results. Remember when 2020 happened, and like the big thing was, some of the people were saying to me, some of the business owners was, everyone's working from home now. What am I gonna do? I don't know what they're doing. I'm like, you give them tasks and you look at their results. You don't care how many hours those people are
Yeah.
working. This is a task that should have this result. You see the result. If you don't see the result, you talk to that person and say, okay, why aren't you doing the result? You don't need to go into someone's cube or someone's office and say, hi, you working on that? And there was the mentality of, no, everyone has to be in the same place, because now if anyone has a question, then come right down the office and see me. It's like, no, set up a system that everyone knows what they're doing, and everyone has different tasks, and here are the results that you're doing. And it doesn't matter if you're side by side, in the same state, in the same country, in the same world. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. And that's true. Where seen systems set up well and good measures on your data, you can have the teams will blossom because all of a sudden you're could be a warehouse team. It could be your marketing team, could be your sales team. They know if they're doing well or not. They take care of a lot of the problems before you even see them, because you might only talk to them. We might only have a meeting once a week to review our KPIs, but you can bet that they're looking at them if they can every day to make sure they don't come into the meeting and not be where they want to be.
If they know what they're doing, they know the effects of each KPI and which one is domino effect on every single one.
Yeah.
And so the thing is that, like I said, communication, everyone working the same way, that's how you get things going. And the interesting thing is, that's the first step, setting up the systems, knowing the results. But guess what? You have to constantly look at that data, because if you just say, oh, my system's done, I don't have to work, and you go to another plateau, you need new systems to get to the next level.
Yep.
So you can't go, oh, I'm done with my system, I'm good for 20 years. No.
Yeah.
Whenever if you do more impact and you go to another level and you grow another level, the system that got you to this level will not get you to the next level.
Let's just stop and think about that a minute. Kurt Anderson, I live stream with him a couple times a week. He always likes to say this. He says, let's just savor that for a moment. Let's let that sink in. The system that got you there won't be the system that will get you where you want to go.
Nope.
This is something that kills companies.
Yep.
It kills them.
Kills them. Because they think they have a system in place and they don't have to worry about it because it's on autopilot. No system's on autopilot. Okay. That's why you need the KPIs to look at things, because guess what? You've seen it. You think about it. Imagine being 2019 going into 2020 on March. And then all of a sudden, boom, I have a system. I don't know why things are going wrong here. My system's in place and it's worked great for 2 years. I'm fine. I don't know what the problem is. The problem is everything changed.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you have to shift and adapt based on the data and also based on the environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you don't, you're screwed.
Yeah. Again, and you came up with another one. You didn't even know it. You went right by it. No system is on autopilot.
None.
Yeah, that's for sure, because it's one of those things, man, that system is going to run into limitations that are going to cause you to have to do changes. You're going to have to change it, whatever. But yeah, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So, and you mentioned crew racing too. As you said, crew racing, I'm like, man, I am getting a video of that. I am using that with clients. I think that's going to be awesome, just because it is such a good example.
Perfect example.
Yeah, because it's just one of those things that's like, if someone's out of sequence, or the isn't it the coxswain, the guy that's calling, the gal or gal is calling, if they're not doing it right, everybody's like, you're losing.
Yeah, and think about the guy who's calling and saying, shift to the right, and all of a sudden you're supposed to go this way, but the guy calling you listen to, and you're out of the race.
Yeah.
And it's like, so there's so many tangible things that could go wrong, but if you're not, the communication, it's huge. Communication and expectation. And then you need a system to do it all.
Yeah.
And the people to run the system.
So, and this is great. I love talking systems. So, in your experience, are the best systems expensive?
No.
Awesome answer. And we didn't talk about that beforehand.
The smaller the business, the more systems people think, oh, when I grow to this point, I'm going to implement systems. And it's like, no. Day one, you're implementing systems. Because guess what? As you grow, things are going to happen and you have to adapt the systems. And the thing is, sometimes, like I could tell you one thing. I go into some people and they're literally have no system. And I say, okay, we're going to start. And they're like, I can't afford a system. I said, really? You can't afford Google Sheets, which is free? Okay, that's where you start.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can make something in Google Sheets for free that you start doing it. And guess what? If you have, some people go, oh, a CRM, I got to do a CRM. I'm not spending all this money. Really? HubSpot has a free version, which is just as good as all the other stuff. And you get to track your stuff. So it's the implementation of a system, and then as you grow, yeah, you're going to outgrow a Google Sheet. You're going to outgrow the free version of HubSpot. You're going to outgrow something else, and
Hmm.
then you spend the money. But the people who say, oh, or someone who, even a bigger company that says, oh, this system cost me $10,000, I'm going to do this. It's like, oh yeah, guess what? Is it a cookie cutter thing? Because guess what? That cookie cutter thing, when you put a square peg into a round hole, what do you do with the leftovers?
Yeah. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I like that. And I had an idea you would answer that way because people, honestly, people come in and they say, well, we can't afford a system like that. But the simpler the solution, I always have had, and seen clients implement some scrappy things, very simple to help them visualize their data, see it however they want, track it easily, whatever it is, and um, perform better than a gazillion dollar whatever you want to put together.
Yeah, because I would come in, like I said, I love helping people, and I get their data, I research it, I get the KPIs, I make a dashboard from all the other sources of data that they have, and I get to pull in all this stuff, and they have a dashboard. And there's some ones that they don't have data for it. So guess what? I grab a Google Sheet and we figure out what data this person has to manually put in, and then the results of the accumulating of that will go on this big dashboard. And and then as things go, okay, yes, you're right, there's some human error in there. Let's get a software package that's not human error. Okay. But if I don't stop and say, oh, well, I can't do this because there's no software and you have to pay X, I seriously will go into Google Sheets. I'll ask these questions. I'll even show them in Zoom. Okay, I'm making the Google Sheet now. Column 1 is this, column 2 is this. And then I take that data, I port it into my, export it on a daily basis, automatically overnight into my dashboard, and they see it first thing in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm grinning because a few years ago we had someone that wanted us to help them, and they needed dashboards. And I said, all right, great. This is the kind of company you are. I've looked at your financials. I've looked at your operational stuff you've got. Here's my Excel version of the dashboard we should start with. Oh, we can't do that. We have to get that. It's got to come automatically out of our systems. We can't manually put that in. That's I forget. It was probably a dozen fields, right? We have to run reports and fill this out. I said, yeah, that's what you got to do. Well, we can't do that. We got to get it programmed so it's all automatic. We can't do that. 3 months later, they still couldn't figure out how to do it. And finally I just said, I think when you're ready to do it, let us know, because what you just said is so key, is to figure out a way that you can look at that data day after tomorrow rather than wait for some solution to look at it 3 months from now. Even if I only get half the data tomorrow, I will make enough improvement because of what I know that you're going to be farther ahead for someone that waited to get some mythical perfect solution in 3 months.
And remember what I said about the Legos? They're all scattered there. I need to build the picture. I don't have time to just look at all these all scattered pieces on the ground, because that's what data is, scattered pieces on the ground.
Yeah,
People have
that's
no
true.
clue how to read it because they don't know what to looking for. So you
Yeah,
make the picture, you make the pattern, and they see that result.
yeah.
Then all of a sudden the light bulb goes off and says, oh, that's my issue. Yes.
How many times do you have clients that when you're visualizing, I'm just coming up with that, 'cause this is great. How many times do you come up with, you're helping clients, you're building this picture with the data, and they go, Oh my God. I didn't know that is the thing that we got to fix, hands down. And then their company just does this like 90-degree pivot into
Yeah.
greatness.
And it's so, and that's why as people go, oh, come on, it's all about data. No, so I have all this stuff. It's like, look, I would put money on it. You do not know. And what I'll do is I'll ask these random KPI questions. And I said, do you know this, 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 this? If they don't know the answer like that, I say you have a data problem. And then they're like, no, sir. I'm like, I just asked you random ones that you couldn't give me answers to. If you knew that your company like the back of your hand and you knew the data like the back of your hand, you'd be answering those questions like this. And since you don't know that, you do have a data problem. And guess what? That data problem, when I show you that picture, will not be the picture that you think is going on in your head about your business right now.
Yeah.
And it's always, and that's why I say to people, look, I don't promise the moon to people. I can't promise results, but I can tell you, you're going to get results once you know the data. Because like you said, once you know that pattern, you're going to go, oh my God, I didn't know we were leaking right there. And they fix that leak way at the beginning. And all of a sudden their revenue will go like this because they fixed that leak way at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Just as thinking about that again. That's good. That's really good.
And getting back to what you said about burnout, if you fix some of these data problems and all you solve is burnout, that's a much more better than solving revenue, because now everyone's on board and now they're like, okay, I'm now thinking with a clearer head because I'm not burnt out. I always think about the gas tank on empty. If your gas tank is on empty, you're burnt out. So what we got to do is fix the issue so that you go at least to half full, and let's get you to full.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Wow. So as you're in businesses and you're doing this and you see people moving on and they're moving into these systems, do you run into times where there are systems that people literally can't find the system that they need and they end up building their own?
Oh, yes. In fact, there is sometimes that you do have to build your own, depending on your business. I don't like when people go, oh, no matter what business you're in, I'll have a system for you right off the shelf. It's almost like, me being a tailor. Oh, wait, you're a size 42? Okay, here you go. Sometimes there is no 42. It's 42 and a half. You're not going to go like this and do that. What you're going to do is say, look, we can get you 90% there, but that other 10%, we can do it one way that a system doesn't work for you, but maybe we can build our own system of that 10%, or maybe we find something that's custom made for you, the whole 100. And either way works. It doesn't matter how you get to 100. So if you find a whole solution that's 100% custom made, great. But like you said, it's going to take a lot of time and it's going to cost a lot of money. Yeah. But if I have a system that's 80% working, but that 20% isn't, maybe I make a system for that 20%.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So as you're working with clients, things are happening, you're getting the systems in place, they're seeing their data picture. What is the changes you see in the owners? What are some of the changes you see in the owners? Are they happier in their business? Do they feel like they want to go out and grow their business now? What are some of the things that you see them happening once they see their business differently?
There's a lot. It's kind of funny. The answer to that is depending on who the person is. Some people like, oh my goodness, this is great. I now get to take some time off. Okay, that's one person. Another person says, oh my God, if I could do this with this, imagine what I could do with this. And so again, that's why I love working with the owners, because the owner is so different. It's like you can have two people exactly running the same business, that the owners are different. So therefore running that business is going to be different because it's the owner's putting the footprint on it. And some people want to be all hands on. And even though you say, look, we're going to run systems so you're hands off, What you're doing is you're hands off on the day to day, but now you're 100% hands on the direction where you're going with your company. And that excites many people because they're
Yeah.
like, look at that.
Yeah. Now I can actually go out and navigate rather than maintain.
Exactly. And trust me, you put in it, most business owners will say, I want to navigate.
Yeah.
Because there's something about a business owner. It's like, you know what? Give me that. I don't want to sit still. Sitting still to me is going backwards.
Yeah.
So I need to go forward. So therefore, if I'm being dragged down because I'm doing all the day-to-day stuff and I can't keep up, I can't move forward. Therefore, I'm falling behind. You fix that part. Now they get to move forward and the creative side comes out. And it's always, okay, Dennis, we're going here now. You're with us, right? You're going to help us with this next level, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm there. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I can't even believe it. We've been here 40 minutes already. This is great, man. So if you had, because we're gonna wind down. If you had one piece of advice, someone's thinking like, yeah, I want to take control of my business, and yep, it starts with my data. What do you think they should? What do you think they should do?
I think the first thing they should do once they realize, yeah, it's my data, you got to ask yourself, are you the person to fix it or are you going to have someone else fix it? If you're going to have someone else fix it, you better know what they're doing. And I've seen that happen. I've come in where others have said, hey, look, I had someone do this and they made a mess out of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, because you got to know what you're looking for. I don't care. I'll come, like I said, I'm the type of person that walks in and sees all those Lego pieces and says, okay, I don't need the picture. We'll figure it out. And some people can't do that. Some people can't problem solve. And that's what it is problem solving. So people in my business, they better be good at what they're doing for problem solving because each issue is different. And you can't just put a template on every single one. And so usually I would say that if you know your data is an issue, find someone who at least you can know, okay, I can handle this with them. And they know that they can move forward with this person.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's worse is it's really tough for a business owner to trust someone. Okay. Especially they know the data's problem, or maybe they don't know the problem. They know something's up, but like I said, that's why I come in right away and I don't say, oh, it's your data. I ask these questions to people. Like I said, I come out with, tell me about this. Then I say, let me ask you some questions. It's like 5 or 6 KPIs. I always start with, your profit and loss. Oh yeah, I see it all the time. And I said, tell me your profit and loss. And right away they go like that. And then I just go through like 4 or 5 other ones and I see them not answering as quickly. And then I said, imagine if you knew this answer. Imagine how much more you can do with that. And that's all I have to do. Instead of coming in saying it's your data, no, I come in and say, I just want to know a little bit about what are you struggling with? And then I ask these questions that might not even look like data, like I say, hey, do you have like multiple services or multiple things that generate revenue? And they say, yeah. I'm like, do you know which one works for you the best? And like, yeah, I said, do you think or do you know? And I start with those things. It's not like, give me this data point. I just say that, but it is a data point. But I don't say it in a 1 + 2 = 3 way. I do it in a conversational way. And then I say to them, look, you do have a data issue.
Mm-hmm.
And then once, if they know that I can see that problem, then they're more willing to say, okay, I'm going to help you. I need your help. I'm like, all right, we're going to come in. We're going to do it for you.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good point. Cause I come in behind people that drop a template in there and say, oh, you're going to be able to go on the beach and you're going to get this email. It's going to tell you how your business is running and you don't have to worry about it again. And that, with the wrong people putting that in and wrong data being used and a lot of other things that don't make sense, it is a challenge.
Yeah.
There's a challenge for others to come in behind it. Well, Dennis, this has been awesome talking to you, man. So if someone wants to reach out because they want to take control of their business, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Best way to get a hold of me, then go to my website, goals2results.com. Or if they just want to email me, it's Dennis@goals2results.com. It's TO, so GOALSTO results.com. And let's have a chat.
Very good. So Dennis at goals2results.com. And man, it was awesome talking to you today, Dennis, about taking control of your business, talking about data, talking about systems, talking about how you put those pieces together to make that picture so business owners and executives can make great businesses. Thanks for being here today, man.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Well, thanks. We had Akandayo. Hey, thanks for being there and listening. Man, if you want to see somebody that is motivational, helping kids, love your stuff, man. Keep it coming. We'll be back again later this week on the Faces of Business. Thanks so much, everyone. Dennis, hang out for a moment.